Welcome friends, myself Ayush Arora and I will be your author for this course, Ethical Hacking. This whole series consists of tools, techniques and methodologies of the ethical hacking process, or you can also say that the penetration testing process, by which you can explore all the security weaknesses, the flaws in your system, and how you are going to patch them, and how you are going to report it to them, to your higher management, if somebody hires you as a security tester, or you can say it as a ethical hacker. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about what is the difference between the malicious hacker and the ethical hacker, what is the ethical hacking process, what is the vulnerabilities and exploit, how many kinds of attacks are there, how you are going to obeying the ethical hacking commandments, how you are going to formulate your plan. So basically let's start with the difference between a hacker and an ethical hacker. Hackers basically you can say are the bad guys which try to compromise the system with has the malicious intent, and ethical hackers are the security professionals which basically provide the security to your organization. If organization hires you as a security professional, so they are basically as an called as an ethical hacker. So what basically an ethical hacking process is? Basically an ethical hacking is a process of finding all the flaws, all the weaknesses in your system, and then reporting it to the higher management so that they can patch it in time. So that before an attacker find out their vulnerability, you need to find out their vulnerability and provide the countermeasures for it. So as an attacker, ethical hacker also uses the same tools, the same skills, the same mindsets and methodologies to find that security flaw as the attacker finds it. So you will also use the same tools and same techniques to find all the security flaws. But the major difference is the ethical hacking is legal and attacking is illegal. What are the vulnerabilities and what are the exploits? So there's a major differences. Like vulnerability is a weakness, a flaw in the system or in your design, in your coding, and exploit is a tool which basically takes the leverage of that vulnerability, that flaw, and helps you to get into the system. So basically an attacker writes a code to leverage a vulnerability, and by using that code he can do whatever he wants. So that code basically, or you can say that tool, is an exploit. We will discuss more in depth about vulnerabilities and exploits in the upcoming series, but I want this introduction to be simple as possible. The kinds of attacks we are going to discuss are the non-technical attacks, the network infrastructure attacks, the operating system attacks, and the application attacks. See, non-technical attacks are kind of the social engineering attacks. Let's say you get an email, like a spam email, and you responded to that spam email, or you log in with and it has a URL in which it asks for username and password, and you fill it with your username and password, and your username and password is grabbed by the attacker. So these kind of attacks are called as the social engineering attacks, or you can say the non-technical attacks. Network infrastructure attacks are basically which you are going to attack any firewall and IDS, IPS routers, basically network components. Operating system attacks are basically when you are finding any flaw in your operating system, like Windows, your Linux, your Mac, your Unix. So if you find any flaw in your Windows, so you can take advantage of it and you can get into the system. Application attacks are basically like if you are targeting any website, any web portal, and there are lots of scriptings also going on, like JavaScript is there. So if you find any flaw in that script and you are able to authenticate yourself as an unauthorized person, so that basically is an application attack. Or if you want to collect any information like credit card information from banking websites, so if you find any flaw, any vulnerability in any banking websites or the kind of websites which store your personal information, and you get that data, so that kind of attacks are basically comes into the application. We will discuss about these attacks in depth in the upcoming chapters. How you are going to obey the ethical hacking commandments? See, ethical hacking is legal, but it also has some restrictions. First of all, when you are doing any security testing for any organization, first of all you need to work ethically. You should not do anything illegal which you are not allowed to do. You should respect their privacy. If you find anything which basically has more value in the black market, so you should not basically public that kind of information. So you need to respect their privacy. Their data should not go out from their premises. And when you are doing any penetration testing, you should not blindly inject or scan anything onto that system. You should first formulate your plan because sometimes I have seen when you are blindly scanning any system, so it may basically cause a crash into the system. So let's say if you are basically testing a machine which is basically in the production environment of an organization, so basically lots of users are using it, but if you crash that system, so their whole business can go down. So you should first formulate your plan, what you're going to test it and how you're going to test it. So ethical hacking process is basically first of all you should find out what specific systems you are going to penetrate or you are going to do the security testing, what are the risks are involved in it, how you are going to perform the test step by step. You should need to document it, because if somebody is hiring you as a security professional, so you should first you should show them, you should document everything, what have you done and how you find the vulnerability or how you have found out the flaw. So you should before starting any ethical process, ethical hacking process, you should first get all the knowledge about the system. So if you are targeting any server, so what basically the operating system is in that, what are the IP addresses, what is the domain name of that system. So these all kind of information first you will collect it and document it, then only you will start your testing process. And what if you find a major vulnerability? So first of all you need to first report it to the higher management that you find this flaw, and you also have to give them the countermeasures like a patch or some tweak that how you are going to patch it so that nobody else can use that vulnerability and get into the system. So this is very important. You should first document everything, every steps when you are performing an ethical hacking process. We will discuss in depth of all these processes, how you are going to use those tools, how you are going will do the scannings, and how you are going to document it, and how you are going to report it, and how you are going to find out any vulnerability in the later series. So this is the basically the overall overview of what the ethical hacking process is. So stay tuned and follow up the upcoming chapters in which we will discuss more into depth. Thank you.